The U.S. government has eased up on some of the travel restrictions to Cuba, and now many Americans are planning a jaunt to the island.
Yeah, they're talking about it too. But before you hop on a plane, there are some things you should do and be wary of, kind of the do's and don'ts. That's why we have travel experts. It's Steve Marshall, and he is it is the Cuba Ventures Corp. Steve, thanks for coming to Great Day, Washington.
Thank you.
Well, this is interesting. So, can we go to Cuba now, and can they come here?
Yes, Americans can visit Cuba, providing it's not on a vacation type travel. They can visit on a people-to-people approval and also on cultural exchanges. And Cubans, for 18 months ago, the Cuban government lifted restrictions on Cubans leaving the island. Therefore, any Cuban can go to any embassy in Cuba, in Havana predominantly, and request a visa.
Oh. So I know we're cruising in there. I know Carnival, I think, last month started
with
traveling
the Fathom,
in there.
yeah.
But what about any U.S. airlines? Are they,
right.
Are they
well, I
doing the
mean,
same?
you know, the first airline to be approved was when the president went down to Cuba. Southwest Airlines, and now we've seen 101 flights approved, scheduled flights into Havana. I think around about 10-15 days ago.
We can go now.
Yeah,
today.
right now. Yeah.
But we have to say, oh yeah, we're doing that for educational reasons, or
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
which is easy enough.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's pretty easy.
You can't just go to party, huh?
Yeah.
Well, we're going to go to party.
Yeah, well, you
what we say and what we do are two different things.
Well,
They
I don't
understand
know
that.
about that. You'd have to, but yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk about do's and don'ts. What do we do there, and what do we don't do?
Well, I would recommend that Americans use these cool American cars, of course, from the 50s, rather than driving a rent-a-car. Predominantly because Cuban law is quite quirky, and if there's an accident, then you may have to stay in the country until the issue is resolved. So that is one issue, and the other would be bear in mind we're in a card society, right? Mm-hmm. And we all use cards, credit cards, and debit cards these days. They won't work in Cuba for Americans, so take a lot of cash. And anybody who loves cigars, now you can bring Cuban cigars back and smoke them in the U.S. You get $100 worth. Yeah.
So you can take a lot of cash. I can only take some because I don't have enough. You can take bags of it. I can change purse. So we understand. We get that.
Well, you also talk about packing light. I mean, is that a terror issue?
No.
The era of terror. Is it about terror?
No.
You don't want to carry much in there.
The law in Cuba is quite strict on importing goods, and so if you take in more than 45 pounds. You have to pay $2 per pound excess when you arrive in Cuba, sort of like the reverse of what you do in the U.S. It's not a lot, but if you're taking in quite a lot of stuff, then yeah. A friend of mine was charged $50 recently, taking in quite a few items for friends and people.
That's 25 pounds more.
Yeah. So we got a guy like this that is a top dresser. He's got several suits. He's got several different.
I don't know if you're going to leave the suits in Cuba or not.
Yeah.
I guess you will.
You have to pay for him to get out, right?
Exactly.
So are they trying to make him buy a suit there?
You'd have difficulty finding the sort of suits that you like.
It's hot there. You're not going to dress a lot.
No,
I mean,
exactly,
you lived there for 12 years, didn't you?
Yes, I did. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how much? You just go in tank tops and shorts.
They have
shorts?
the Cuban guayabera. You must have heard of that.
No, what is that?
It's the white shirt with the lines on the front. I mean, that is the staple dress there.
Not tucked into that Cuban hat.
The Cuban, like the Panama hat. Yeah,
the Panama hat. Yeah.
So. It is quite humid too, of course. Not unlike the state of South Florida, at least. Yeah, it's very similar. You're only 90 miles from Florida, right? So.
Yeah. No. Okay. So obviously, it's 90 miles between Florida and Cuba, right?
Well, Key West.
Yeah.
It's still 90 miles. Yeah.
It's so close.
It is. Yeah.
Wow.
And now you guys can visit. I mean,
is it worth the trip?
I got his card.
It
I'm
is.
going.
It is.
Oh, he wants to go. I'm like,
if you guys want to see like the ultimate time warp. Right, so you're going back in time. Go to Cuba.
Good.
Hey,
will do. Steve Marshall, thank you so much for stopping by, and we'll see if we can go out there and enjoy Cuba on your word.
I'll get you to go with me.
All right, we'll go. Thanks so much for being on Great Day, Washington.
Yeah, thank you.